If I was writing a cookbook, this recipe would definitely be in it. Part 15, Colcannon. This 5-ingredient mashed potato recipe is jam-packed full of caramelized onions, roasted cabbage, cheese, and milk. Guys, did you know you could just be adding vegetables to mashed potatoes? Evidently, this is an Irish recipe that my grandma, last name Sullivan, never made and didn't tell me about. I just found it a few weeks ago and I love it. Any recipe that can sneak in extra veggies definitely has my attention. For this recipe, you're going to need russet potatoes, cabbage, extra sharp white cheddar cheese, salted butter, and regular milk. The day I filmed this, I was working on a big batch cooking day. I wanted to have Colcannon that night, and I wanted to use the Colcannon on top of shepherd's pie later in the week. So I made a huge batch, and the recipe down below will be for a more normal sized portion. I began by peeling the potatoes, chopping them into 1-inch chunks, putting them in a pot of cold water, and boiling them until they were tender inside. While they were boiling, I cut up the onions and shredded the cheese. After the potatoes were cooked, I let them drain. Into that same pot, I added the butter and the onions, put it on medium-low, and let them begin to caramelize. While the onions were cooking, I chopped up the cabbage. And the onions were taking a long time because caramelization does take a long time. And I turned up the heat, and then they just weren't caramelized anymore. I just straight up cooked the onions. Once my potatoes drained and cooled down, they went in my super duper extra large bowl. And you can see here the onions are past caramelized. And there's that nice, I think it's called fond. That's like the brown bits on the bottom, which is good stuff. So I just added the milk to that so I could scrape up the fond. I hope that's the name. And that will make the potatoes even more flavorful. I got another pan ready. I used some olive oil in this case, and I started to saute up the cabbage. You could put it in the oven too, but I had something else going in the oven, so I just did it on the stovetop. When I was cooking the cabbage, I got a little bit of like a sear on there. I like to do that with vegetables. I think it increases the flavor, although doing that with the caramelized onions and the cabbage made the potatoes less white. So if white mashed potatoes is important to you, you can change your cooking time. To me, it wasn't important. I cooked the cabbage until it was tender, then I took it off the heat and I began to mash the potatoes, and I added in the milk and caramelized onion mixture. And I didn't get any footage of it, so you'll just see a big bowl of mashed potatoes. I just use a regular masher. I did it exactly how you would imagine it in your head. I didn't mash the potatoes until they were completely smooth because I was already going to be adding in things that had texture, so I wasn't concerned about the potatoes' texture still being in there. After the potatoes were mashed and the milk, butter, and onion mixture was mixed in, I folded in the sauteed cabbage, and then after that, the shredded extra sharp cheddar cheese. And it's so tasty. I remember years back hearing that Kentucky Fried Chicken had the idea of mashed potato bowls, but they just put like cheese and corn and gravy and I don't know, like chicken nuggets or something on there. And I remember thinking like, that's a pretty good idea. It also feels a little sad, but it also seemed like a good idea. And this was just a more veggie-friendly version of that. After that, you can put it in a casserole dish and bake in the oven. You can eat it just after you mix in the ingredients. That's up to you. It's delicious. I mean, potatoes, cheese, butter, milk, cabbage. It's great. It tastes good. You could freeze it. You can make it in bulk. That whole big bowl that you saw was like $5, so it's affordable. It's great. Here it is on top of the lentil shepherd's pie. You could use it in different ways. I bet if you added an egg to it, you can make them into like a fritter. Versatile, cheap, and delicious. Yes, please.